I want to break free. I want to break free.
Freedom from Behind Bars with me, Karen Allen. This is part 5 of a 5-part series, and we are concluding today looking at what freedom really looks like. I don't know if you remember at the beginning of this series when we began and I introduced you to the story of Joseph. I mentioned that Joseph was a dreamer. And as a young boy, Joseph had a couple of dreams, both of which were interpreted to mean that at some point in his life, his parents and his brothers would bow down to him. He would be in a position of authority that would mean that his parents and his siblings would have to submit to that authority. And as a result of the dreams that Joseph had when he was a child, he was hated by his brothers. And we've talked about the journey just briefly that Joseph's life took, and some of the ups and the downs, and some of the challenges that he was faced with. And we discussed some of the emotions that he would have had to wrestle with throughout those challenges. And it's really interesting to see and to know that the end of Joseph's life was the best of Joseph's life. His life started off really well, being favored by his dad, having a coat of many colors, being someone who his parents thought were very special and unique. And then his life took a turn for the worst. And like Joseph, you may have started off your life with a dream. At some point in your life, you may be able to look back and think, yeah, I used to want to be that, or I used to want to do that. I used to want to go there. It could be anything. It could have been a dream of starting your own business, or a dream of traveling the world, or a dream of helping the homeless, or a dream of helping out orphans, a dream of having your own family, a dream of running a powerful company, anything. Every single one of us had a dream. I believe that we were all gifted with at least one dream. And I believe that we start off passionate about our dreams, and we may have even shared with other people what our dreams were, what our desires were, and then life happens. Life happens, and the thing is, life happens to all of us. And oftentimes people get so discouraged and despondent about life, disappointed, that they stop dreaming, they stop believing. They have a pit situation where someone lets them down, disappoints them, rejects them, abandons them, and then they stop dreaming. Or they have a prison situation where they are now faced with and consumed by feelings of bitterness and anger, resentment, and they stop dreaming. But Joseph didn't stop dreaming. Even in the midst of his darkest hour, there was a flicker of light that kept his dream alive. And I'm hoping that throughout these 5 series that something in you has come alive. I'm hoping that I have said something that has caused you to think differently, and hopefully caused you to even dream again. Between Joseph's dream as a young boy and his journey of disappointment and discouragement and devastation, even between his dream and his destiny, there was a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, a lot of mess. But Joseph's end was better than his beginning. And I want to encourage you that wherever you find yourself right now, in whatever situation you find yourself in, if you would just hold on till the end. The Bible says something quite profound. It says that better is the end of a thing than the beginning. And we live in a society where people are so quick to give up in the middle, because it's hard in the middle. It takes effort in the middle. It takes consistency. It takes pressure. It's painful in the middle, and people often stop in the middle and they don't see things through to the end. They don't see their relationships through to the end. They don't see their business through to the end. Some people don't see their financial plans through to the end. They give up in the middle. But Joseph didn't give up in the middle. And I want to encourage you not to give up in the middle, because Joseph ended up being the second in command in the whole of the country of Egypt. He was the second only to the Pharaoh. And even the Pharaoh took his advice on the situation that the nation was faced with. So he was the most powerful voice in that nation, because he was the one who advised the Pharaoh. And it ended up that his brothers, the same brothers who threw him in the pit, went full circle, and they found themselves in Egypt before Joseph, having to ask Joseph to save their lives. And the powerful thing is, Joseph did not allow his experiences to corrupt his responses. He recognized his brothers when they came to him in Egypt, because there was a famine in their land, and they were running out of food, and they were running out of supplies, and they had to go to Egypt because although there was a famine across the lands, because of Joseph's interpretation of dreams, because of his gift, God had showed him that if he put a strategy in place, that Egypt would still have food in the midst of a famine. So now his brothers had to come from their land to Egypt to get food in order to survive. But little did they know that the person they had to get the food from was the same brother that they put in the pit. Now Joseph recognized them, but they didn't recognize him. And when he revealed himself to them, they were terrified. Can you imagine? This is the brother we thought was dead all these years, and he is now the man in charge. But Joseph was so gracious to his brothers. You know why? Because Joseph was free. He had forgiven them. He had released them. He had embraced what he went through, and he had exited the situation that he was in. And he was free. He was free to bless them. He was free to give to them. He was free to let them know that it wasn't you that caused me to be put in the pit. It wasn't you that caused me to be in the prison. God had his hand on me. Joseph saw the bigger picture. And wherever you find yourself right now, you might be in the darkest, deepest depth of a situation that you can't even believe you found yourself in, whether it's because someone put you there or you put yourself there. And you may be thinking, there is no way out of this. You may be feeling depressed. You may be feeling suicidal. You may be feeling as though no one is there to support you. But someone is always watching over you. Someone has always got your back in the same way that someone had Joseph's back. And you may not understand the fullness of what you're going through right now, but if you would just have the faith to see it through to the end, apply the keys that I've shared with you, apply the principles of forgiveness, apply the principles of release, apply the principle of embracing what you've been through, learning the lessons, and then make a decision to exit where you are and enter into freedom. If you would just do that, then like Joseph, when life comes around full circle, because it always will, you will not be the one to hold it against those who caused you pain, but you will be the one with the power and the authority to say, you didn't do this to me. God had his hand on my life. And although it was dark, although it was painful, although it was terribly heartbreaking at times, I realize that your purpose in causing me pain just fueled my purpose to get me to the palace. I hope that you've gotten something out of all of these sessions, or at least one of them. And I trust that from this day forward, you will make a commitment to yourself to be free, to break free from behind those bars. Remember, all freedom is a choice, and I trust that you will choose wisely. Until next time, bye for now.
I've got to break free.